Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're jumping down into the world of VeChain, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we would expect to happen next. As we get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, tap the bell, and don't forget to join us down in Discord. Okay guys, let's dive into this one, right? Let's get started. So VeChain paired up with USDT on the hourly chart and Binance is the data source. Now you can see here on this slightly zoomed out view of this, we have a three-wave structured move upwards here. That was almost impulsive, almost taking us up in a trend. However, the three-wave structure and the breakdown from this area shows us that we were not in a trend to the upside. Now we are, of course, potentially on the cusp, but actually gotten confirmation of a trend to the downside within our drop here. Now, there's a couple of ways of really taking a look at this, so we're going to start drilling down into a little bit of the data here for VeChain. Okay, so we're just going to start off by taking a look at our kind of structured move to the downside at the moment, okay, where we can kind of see our bottom range here. This would be in our wave 4 and this be in our wave 5. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and grab our kind of structures. We're going to pull these back in, and then we're just going to marry this up and we can kind of see our 5-wave structure. Now, unusually so, our wave 2 has not retraced as deep as we would have wanted it to. It should have been a little bit deeper. It should have come up here. And this can happen from time to time when it's not overly too concerning. The main thing really is that after we completed this structure coming down here, if I grab hold of this on that, can I get that? Yeah, we go. Actually, I think it's that wick right there. Yeah, that one. And if I move this down a little bit right in here, we can kind of see that we pushed way past the 1.618. Okay, so it's a good indication that we are clearly in a trend to the downside, at least at the micro scale. Okay, I'm not saying that we're trending down at a grander scale just yet, but we've got a clear micro trend here. Now, with our wave 4 and our wave 5, as we were talking about the other day, if we go ahead and just map this on to that high point right there, you can see that we have come down already into the typical areas of retracement. Okay, we would have normally expected this to be somewhere between 2.368 and 2.448. Basically, this little yellow box here, you can see that we entered into it. Now, on reflection to this, I still think we have a little bit more room to go down. I think we're in some kind of fourth wave structure here within our kind of 5-wave move. Okay, now we can't quite easily see a wave 2 or anything like that on this particular time frame. Even if I jump down into, in fact, yeah, it would be right in here. You can kind of see this wick, this move up, and then this pull back to the downside. And that's going to be our wave 2. Then moving down, this will be our wave 4. But on our hourly chart, it's not overly apparent. But I do think that's exactly what's going on down here. So if I just go ahead and just grab this in from our high end, somewhere around here was our wave 2. We come on down into our wave 3, and then up for 4, and then down into 5. I still think we've got a little bit more room before we can kind of say that we're done with this 5-wave drop at this kind of scale. Now, if we bring our stochastic RSIs, you can see exactly why I think this. Our momentum indicator is indicating that we have to pull back a little bit before we can actually have any decent kind of rally to the upside, which I do think is just around the corner, considering we're talking about 5-wave structures and the end of the 5th wave appearing right down here. We're right within our typical range, so I'm not looking for too much. I'm just looking for that little bit more to the downside. Now, if I do go ahead and actually put a Fibonacci retracement tool on here, you can kind of see there's a little bit of overlap right inside this little spot, basically saying 2.350 and slightly higher right here at 2.380. Okay, so that's kind of the motion to the downside. That's kind of what we're looking for, that little sliver right there. Now, we can throw the volume on here. We can kind of see that the volume, it isn't doing anything overly impressive at this point. It's kind of running out of steam, all that kind of selling pressure kind of coming towards the end. Okay, so this is now going to start to see a bit of a reversal. We'll see sentiment changing in the space. So always be greedy when people are fearful and be fearful when people are greedy, all the kind of usual stuff. So, you know, we're able to kind of take advantage of the situation, understanding the structures of things. So with this being said, once this does bottom out, we can take a look at our 4-hour. We're actually really primed for a good swing to the upside. The same with the 8-hour. Once we finish pulling down a little bit lower, as I said, into this little yellow box area, we should then start to see a good swing on our 8-hour chart. Our daily is also ready. So our 4, 8, and daily charts are ready for a good move to the upside. So where are we going? Well, if we go ahead and actually take a look at our structure, slightly zoomed out here, we've got 2 dashed lines on this chart. The first one is this one just here at 2.857. This is approximately 50%. It might need adjusting depending on how low we actually finish this move off, but approximately 50%. This would be a typical kind of low wave 2 or a typical wave B move. So if we're talking about 5-wave structures, these only tend to appear in either wave 1 or in an A wave, right? So if it's an ABC, this is all A. we bounce up to that 50% line at 2.857, and then we move down into a C wave, dropping down significantly lower, right? Probably creating a double bottom down here, which of course, if we were to then zoom out, guys, what do we see? For any pattern traders out there, I'll draw this on just so you guys are aware. This basically would be our head and shoulder pattern, just moving up as so. So it'd move down. It's actually a bit wonky. Maybe I'll just do it up here for a second. Move up and then we pull back down, right? I'll have to wonder what's going on there. It's a little bit off, but nonetheless, you know, it's something to that effect. Can't really draw these head and shoulder patterns accurately on here, but you kind of see the pattern and the structure to this. We haven't actually come down to this area here, so we'd probably have to say that it's going to be somewhere around that line. Nonetheless, I'm not going to get into that. Essentially, 3 up, 3 down, okay, at kind of best case scenario. Now, worst case scenario is it's going to be something different. And that is that it's actually going to be a wave 1 coming down here, and that wave 2 might take us up a little bit towards 3.253 area before we pull back down into those lower ranges as well. Okay, so we should be a little bit cautious. There's a couple of different patterns that could go on here, and I think that we're going to land somewhere between the two. The more cautious individuals between us might want to think about what we want to do at about 2.857 cent. Okay, if we're going to go and kind of long the market, maybe if we want to capitalize in doing some trading for about 20% or so, and there's always that as an option. Or if you want to consider your positions as a hodler, you know, do you want to come out of your positions ahead of the downward price pressure at around 2.857? Those are options as well. Obviously, we could ride it a little bit higher depending on what the analysis tells us on our journey to the upside. Are we 5 waves up? Are we 5 waves up like this, 3 waves down, then another 5 waves up like that? Okay, there's all sorts of different things that could happen here. The deeper that we go into this move upwards, as in the closer we get to 3.254, the easier it's going to be to trend down at a later stage. Okay, so we want to be a little bit cautious about that. But I am confident that we're going to end up somewhere between these two areas based on our 4, 8, and daily stochastic RSIs. And of course, ending on a 5-wave structure like this, we should be thinking about our upward directional move to the upside. Okay, so we're talking about a pretty significant move. If we just take it from that low end right there, we've got 20% to our 50% retracement area of about 2.857, and then we go up to about 37% if we were to aim for that slightly higher move. So there's going to be some significant gains to the upside. However, the keen-eyed observer between us will obviously clearly note that we are not to go higher than our origin point here, and instead we'll continue our move to the downside. So essentially for VeChain, we've got some good times ahead. I do think we're going to be finishing this corrective structure off shortly, coming down to that slightly lower range as explained, and then we'll be swinging nice and high to the upside to take advantage of that that kind of I guess momentum behind the price that we've got on the 4, 8, and daily charts. Guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. If you found it useful and informative, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and join us in Discord. Links in the description below. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one.